Hello and welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John, where in each episode we'll stroll down the Macintosh memory lane. We'll discuss older Macintosh computers, collecting all things related to the Mac and Apple computer, and current topics from the perspective that only a couple of old Mac fans can provide.
Here we are.
Yes, indeed.
We've got a few folks in the chat. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Mac Down Under. Hello, hello.
Did we pre-announce last week? I can't remember.
You showed the book to me.
Oh,
I don't know if you showed
yeah,
the book
we talked
to
about it.
everyone. I cannot remember. That was last week.
Yeah, I'm going to do a book report today. That's the thing we're doing. Slow news week, unlike last week, which was a big news. Well, because we were off for so long. I think that contributed to it heavily. I've got an update on my computer inventory. A sad one. The saddest of them all. But we'll get to that in due time. But let's do this for real.
All right.
Hit all the right buttons here, and let's go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 712 for July 7th, 2025. Good evening, John.
Good evening, James.
Did you see any fireworks? The big 4th of July celebration?
Did not.
Did not.
My sweet wife and I stayed in and just watched TV.
Did you hear them? I'm sure there were some in your neighborhood.
There were some, yeah.
The cats,
Nah, that
they
wasn't
don't
that
freak
long.
out? Oh,
Nah.
okay.
After being in EOD as a career field, fireworks just don't do a whole lot for me.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I avoid it strictly because of the crowds and the heat.
Oh
and
yeah, certainly. Yeah.
yeah.
I have some friends that they rented a hotel room off the bay and just stayed inside and watched them inside.
I watched them on TV. I did go out. Well, I did step outside because there's somebody in my neighborhood was doing some pretty ambitious fireworks.
All right.
They sounded like they were at my front door, so I needed to go out. They were in fact a street over, but pretty loud. All right. Well, this week I've got a little book report. I'm always drawn towards retro-themed books, especially when they have a picture of our beloved Mac on the front. So I've got that. The book 20 Go to 10. It's been out for a while. I've had it for a while. I just haven't gotten around to talk about it. We've got eBay finds. We got a little bit of news. I've got an update on my inventory. So we'll be right back with Etsy finds, I should say. All right. We'll get those up on the screen. Hey, Joshua Curtis. Howdy to you. Okay. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. All right. Last week on Etsy, found a couple of knickknacks that might be of interest. They have these little 3D printed cute classic Macs with the simulated screens on them. This keychain was $19.59. Of course, they're still selling them out there. And we have the little 3D art with the classic Mac, Smiley Mac icon.
Multi-layer, yeah.
Yeah, that one's still out there. $60 is what that's for sale for. And then the 5 color logo socks in the style of a vintage Apple sock. Those are available $8.59 for a pair of those. Okay, we will begin this week. We're going back to eBay. The title is New Open Stock Macintosh, a Guided Tour of Macintosh Cassette Tape Apple Computer, 1984. The description says, well, it's vintage and it's sealed. So, back when people were just learning to use the Macintosh, and if they didn't sit down with somebody that trained him, even though the computer is supposed to be completely self-explanatory. Right. I mean, that was the idea. It's not. Well, I would say maybe not self-explanatory, but easy to use. But it still requires some
Yeah, yeah.
explanation.
Especially
If yeah,
mouse.
if
What
you've
the heck
never
is
seen
that?
it before,
Right. Yeah.
right. And so they had these cassette tapes that shipped with them, audio cassettes that you could listen along, and it sort of would walk you
So,
through
so I was going to
things.
ask. So there was the
Yeah.
guided tour disc, right? That came with the original Mac as well. Did that sync up with the audio on this, so you
Oh,
could
did
like?
it?
I've
I
never
don't know.
actually listened
Maybe
to
it
the cassette
did.
audio,
Maybe
so
it
I would.
did.
It would make sense, right?
It
You'd
would.
open up, bring in the guided tour. You'd get that
Hmm.
started. You'd listen to the cassette, and it would explain things as it.
I wonder how many people that opened up their Mac and saw this cassette were like, okay, so
Well,
the Mac
everyone had a
didn't
cassette
come.
player then. I
No,
mean,
but if they thought it was like a data cassette, they had to hook it up to their
oh,
Mac because there were programs on it.
right, right.
There must have been a few that was like, oh, crap, I didn't get the cassette, interface for my Mac. Well, this one, I mean, this is new, brand new sealed, $35 is what they
Yeah.
want for a solid deal. I mean, you'd want to keep it shrink wrapped forever. I would imagine the audio files are out there somewhere online. Somebody must
They've
have
got to
posted
be
those.
sure.
And maybe we did an episode on this thing and played clips. It's maybe worth
I really don't
revisiting.
remember that
I
at
don't know.
all. Yeah.
Maybe we should do an episode about figuring out if we did an episode on this. The hunt for that elusive
Hopefully
episode.
Derek is listening and he will come to our rescue.
Yes,
and
tell
see
us.
whether
Did
we
we already
this
cover this? If we did, it was so long ago.
so long ago.
Hundreds and hundreds of episodes ago. All right. Here, I guess I'll show one more picture. Oh, you know what? This isn't even in that. I had it all wrong. This was a guided tour. It's a guided tour of Macintosh and MacWrite and Mac Paint. It's all. So you've got the
Yeah,
basics of the
because
Mac,
remember, it came
MacWrite,
with the
and Mac
sampler
Paint.
for MacWrite and Mac Paint. What came as a
Yes.
sample application, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go. Okay. All right. What do you got for us?
Our next up, fully restored Apple Macintosh Color Classic Duo 2, complete in box, mint. So this is kind of, I like the fact that in the description he's got a little bit of history. Up for sale is a Japanese exclusive Macintosh Color Classic 2 computer, which was lovingly used and carefully preserved with its original box, peripherals, accessories, and documents since it came out in 1993. The original owner used this machine very lightly or seemingly for only a few months and was stored away in a dark closet till 2024. When it was rediscovered and sold to me, it has no scratches, cracks, scuffs, or wear whatsoever. It really does smell and feel factory fresh. Well, since this gent has taken this, and then they've once he got the machine, he cleaned it inside out, recapped the motherboard, installed a Blue SCSI hard drive emulator, replaced the gear and the floppy eject mechanism. Please note that the recap of the motherboard is not the average hobbyist level work. No, it is not. This thing is, much more involved. So, pretty cool. The guy shows lots of pictures. The guy has pictures of it running. Everything looks fantastic. Now,
Ooh.
hopefully you're sitting down. If you're driving, do not get
sitting
into an
down.
accident. $1,699.99. Now, the Color Classic 2 does fetch a much higher premium than the regular Color Classic, which can get up there. We've seen them fluctuate anywhere from $300-$400 up to the $800 range. So it's kind of if you catch them at the right time, you might get a better deal. Color Classic 2 very seldom comes up.
Yeah.
This
Super
one
rare.
Yeah.
You mentioned had all the original boxes, everything. Yeah, new in essentially. Well, not new in box, but actually it says what does this says? This is complete in box. Is that what
Complete
CID?
in box, right? So it has been opened. Obviously, it's not a sealed box, as I think that's what they're getting at with that. But all the stuff was originally in the box is still there, including the plastic it would have been wrapped in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Beauty. Nice. All right. Next, we'll go to this. It says Motorola, IBM, Apple PowerPC 603 processor chips. First silicon CPU paperweight. Description says has some wear from age. Most notable is the scratching on the acrylic. See the photos for details. So shall we? So we're looking at this paperweight, and it's in a interesting shape.
It's kind of a hexagon. Well, the front face is a hexagon.
Okay.
And then it's got some beveling on the sides that flares out to give it a wider base and a narrow top.
It features the IBM and Motorola logos, and then below that says PowerPC 603, first silicon, April 18th, 1993. And then embedded within the acrylic are the chips. There are two in there.
Because Motorola produced some of them and IBM produced some, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they be essentially identical? They use the same
one would hope
design. And so look at these pictures, like, oh, that's kind of cool. So it's like preserved in history for you.
Yeah.
And it's just the die. I mean, it's not in an integrated chip or anything like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, well, which is cool because you can kind of see.
You can see it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you can actually, there's a zoom in shot here, and you can look at it and you can see kind of the major components within the IC there.
Yeah,
it kind of reflects light.
And
a little
really
bit.
Reasonably priced, I think, for this.
Yeah, $109.95 is the buy it now.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I mean, how many of these were given out? How many survived and just tossed? Does anybody know what a paperweight is anymore? There used to be this stuff called paper, and we somehow, I don't know, offices were windy, maybe because there wasn't air conditioning, and so a draft would come through and your papers would just fly up if you didn't have
just everywhere.
Yeah, paperweights used to be. Paperweight then became like a thing that was like also like the pejorative for something that was worthless, right?
Yeah, right.
Like that guy over there, he's just a paperweight, But all right, so really cool. Be awesome on somebody's desk sitting next to a
pile of papers.
And a Power Mac that featured the 603. Hello, Shalimar.
Hey, Right. Right was over just this last Friday working on an iMac. So
one of his?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what was wrong with it?
He had some screen issues. So we're trying to figure out if it's cables or the display itself. So I think he's getting ready to order some cables.
Yeah.
Hopefully the cheap option is the fix.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go in 3, 2, 1. All right, well, every once in a while I come across a cool book of a retro computing flair, and I saw this a while back and had to get it because of the artwork on the front.
It's a great cover.
I didn't even read much about it.
Great cover.
The title is 20 Go to 10, which of course is a little basic programming language there. Back when you have to use line numbers. Oh, line numbers. And it's, Facts About Retro Computing by Stephen Goodwin. And it features a little classic Mac. Not it's a little stylized. They don't have to bump up against anybody's copyright. But everybody could recognize what that is.
Everyone knows.
Without the Apple logo and, of course, a 3.5-inch floppy, a tape cassette like we talked about, and then it looks like the iconic Atari joystick. Well, this is really a compendium of retro computing stories.
It's like anecdotes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's not very technical. It's more like
just fun things to know. and they were collected over years by Stephen Goodwin, who is a self-proclaimed computer geek, who just across his years, starting his childhood, just wanted to get into every kind of computer that existed and dive deep, and started collecting like little stories. And he devised this interesting way of organizing it, which is to organize it by number, because all the stories in here can be referenced by a number. And then he laid it out. So when I say number, like the number 64 is first, like say 64K for the Commodore 64, like so all these numbers, and that's the way they're organized. And so it goes incrementally from the very first number, which is 0 in this case, all the way up to some huge number. I don't remember what it was, and then the way you navigate it is choose your own adventure style, because at the end of each little blurb, there is a bunch of go-to statements where you can go to other sections of the book to learn about something different. And so you just kind of keep bouncing around the book,
nice,
learning various things, whatever you're kind of interested in at the moment. And so because there is a Mac on the front, there are some Apple stories in here. So I'll read you one. So this one falls under the number 10, and it's 10 seconds. In August 1983, Apple CEO Steve Jobs delivered a motivational speech to the Mac developers. He asked them to shave 10 seconds off the boot time. Multiply that by 5 million users, and that's 50 million seconds every single day. Over a year, that's probably dozens of lifetimes. So if you make it boot 10 seconds faster, you've saved a dozen lives. That's really worth it, don't you think? So that's the story.
So where does that go to?
Well, it doesn't. I mean, there's no natural place, and so you get a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different options. For example, you can go to 49, optimizing for speed. So 49 has to do something with optimizing for speed. It's still a little cryptic on what you might.
But it is still related to what you just read, right?
No.
For speed. Well,
no,
because that was no.
Oh, well, not all of them are like. I mean, one of them is go to 10, and it's just basic, and one is disabling the brake key. So no, they're not.
All right.
They can't. Yeah, otherwise they'd all be related. That'd be a nightmare to figure out how to do that. And so you just bounce around and learn cool little facts, and it covers a wide variety of computers. I mean, all kinds of stuff I've never even heard of, and calculators, and pretty much anything you can program and dig into. I did have a little gripe with this book, though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. When it says, like, for example, go to 49, right? Well, normally when you see a reference, right, in a book, and it's a page reference, so you're instinctively go to page 49. Of course, that's not where you're supposed to go. You're supposed to go to the number 49.
Got it.
In this list of, that's organized in ascending order of numbers. How do you find entry 49 when the page numbers are not numbered that way? Well, you wind up flipping a lot of pages to zero in to exactly where 49 is.
All right, yeah.
The pages should have been numbered by the line numbers, not by pages. That's kind of my gripe. Maybe the second edition can have both the page number and the referenced line number. But nevertheless, fun little book.
Very good.
Yeah.
Are you going to include the link to it?
Oh, yeah. I was going to. Yeah, you found the author actually does a little tech talk.
Like an hour-long video.
Yeah, it gives history and kind of walks through the book, and the motivations for for writing it.
Publishing your own. All right.
Stephen Goodwin, Tech Talk, the Center for Computing History in, I guess this was done at the museum, which is in Cambridge, UK, England. Yeah, nice little talk there. So, and I got this on Amazon. I don't know where the best place to buy it from. It's published by Unbound at www.unbound.com.
Very nice.
All right. Da, 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 da. Okay. Gonna do a little news now. Little news. All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1, go. It's time for the news. Just a couple YouTube videos that popped up at all the usual places. James Wages is known for just doing just a fantastic job of producing videos, and in this case, documented the retrofit of an SE30 with a color LCD.
Yeah, we ran across these kits, remember, on eBay a while ago.
Is this the same kit? I don't remember that
same
name.
kits.
Zigzag Joe?
Well, I don't know what he sells them under eBay, if it's under that name or not. But this is the guy who developed it, is my understanding. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, complete drop-in color LCD retrofit kit for the SE30. Yeah.
So it's nice to see James go through the process of putting it in there, showing just how good the picture looks on it. He talks about some some what might be negative aspects for some people, but yeah, really, again, James does great videos, so it's this is no exception. It's nice to see the thing in action.
Yeah, step by step. You see, it's like nearly an hour long, going from a little history, looking at the kit, the installation, all the way through testing and doing a little gaming on it. And then, of course, a complete list of everything you need to buy. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you have some of these things on hand. But everything you would need, and if you need to buy it, well, there's a link to that. So, all there. So, what an awesome project and very helpful guide. All right. And Ron from Ron's Computer Video just did a video that's also about an hour long, where he interviews Bill Appleton, a game developer, and was involved in a lot of big games for the Mac. Enchanted Scepters, I remember playing that in the early days. Lots of classic titles. I remember playing Lunicus. He was behind that, which was an early CD-ROM game. One of the first, when the CD-ROMs came out, and there was everybody was jumping on to create, the game that was gonna not only take advantage of it, but get people to buy CD-ROMs. And so, have little embedded videos, because they finally had space to put all that stuff on there. So Lunicus was one of those first games, but he worked for Silicon Beach Software, among others, and Supercard too, another credit. So, but that's a fun interview with Ron.
Yeah, I'll check that one out.
Always entertaining. And that's pretty much it.
Wow.
That I saw. That was a quick bunch of news. So we'll see what's going on next week. All right.
Yeah, I've never heard of Lunicus either.
Yeah.
Sure, must be a Macintosh Garden, I would think.
Yeah. Let's see.
Now, did you say you actually played Lunicus, or was it another one of his games? Okay.
Yeah, I played it. Let's see. Is it there? Lunicus? trying to find it real quick. Maybe it's not there. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank here. I'm getting errors on Macintosh Garden's webpage too. That's not helping me. All right. Let's see. I'm going to do a little outro, but we got some stuff to talk about on the outro. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Okay. I think I mentioned at the top of the show that I added to my inventory. Each week I'm trying to pull a Mac from a shelf and examine it. This has been the first tragedy I've encountered was today. I was worried about this one. And in doing so, I created a new rule.
Oh,
when
okay.
when I check these out. You want to guess what the new rule is?
Oh,
The new
you
rule.
immediately have to try to play marathon.
The new rule is I inspect it internally before.
Oh no! Oh yes, please.
Well, I get so excited. Well, I blame John. I had 10 minutes to go.
Wait.
It's your fault. I said, hey, I got 10 minutes. Do I have, because I had not checked out a Mac yet. I said, I got 10 minutes. I got time to check out a Mac. He goes, yeah, do it. Do it, I think is what you said.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, see? And so I grabbed a Quadra 700 behind me. It's normally right over here. Hooked it up to power and the monitor. Fired it up. I got power light. I got disk drive roaring. No chime.
Yeah.
And then there was this distinct odor, which is still, if we upgrade to the Smello streaming or whatever, I could, listeners at home could smell what I'm smelling right now. But it's this burning electricity thing kind of smell. So I pulled power, opened it up, and of course this is what I saw. Now, it's interesting so this is a leaking pram battery, right?
Yeah. Was it the Max Cell?
I don't know. Well, I didn't have time to take because the battery is underneath the disk drive cage.
Oh yeah.
And so I'd have to unscrew some stuff. I didn't have time to get to that. But the way the Quadra 700, if I could find another picture, the way the 700 is oriented, and because it's a tower, the battery, which is in this picture would be right here in this little cage. This is at the top when the case is sitting on a shelf. And so it leaked down from here and collected down on the bottom here, which is what you're seeing here. So this is the bottom of the case.
Years ago, I had it stored on the side.
Yeah.
Same exact thing happened. This is well before I knew the whole, early days of my collecting. So I didn't know about the PRAM battery issue.
And so probably the damage is pretty not as bad as it could have been, because it just sort of caught some components on the way down, and all the juicy goodness of the battery just collected in the bottom of the case here. There's going to be a handful of these that I did not take the time to pull batteries, and it's been so long that whatever it's done is done at this point. It's not like I'm. This has probably been like this for 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
It became toast. Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
With that much corrosion.
Yeah. All right, so that one's done for now.
Very,
log
very
it in the
done.
book. It's cooked. Well done. And that brings me total to, I'm at 10 good. We increment the bad to 5.
Ooh.
That's a very, well, that should be its own category probably, right? Because the other 4, they just need some some minor probably work. This one is in the major category.
Yeah.
So that might be its own category. So we'll count the ones like this, exploding prams or whatever, in its own category. All right. And then John, you had a thought earlier today about well, heck, we'll save that. Actually, we'll save that for the bonus at the end because it's very visual, right?
It's very visual.
The audio
right.
people aren't going to get it. Okay. Well, how are we for next week?
I'm here.
John showed me earlier today. He made a tiny little classic-inspired mouse to go with his
Mac
whatever you're calling
Mini
it.
Mac, whatever. Yeah, the
Yes, that one.
the 60% scaled Mac that I have my M4
Yeah.
Mac.
So he
or
made
Mac Mini
a
is-
matching mouse for it. So we're going to
Yeah.
take a look at that next week. And until then, remember, it's not old.
It's retro.
Okay. So you saw somebody's collection of mice.
Yeah, somebody on Reddit had posted a really nice display that they had done of all the hockey puck mice. Somebody in the comments mentioned that, hey, it's a shame you don't have the Bondi Blue Mac, iMac mouse. And it occurred to me, I had just assumed that they use the same mouse as for the Blueberry because I've never seen a Bondi Blue one.
Yeah.
And it turns out maybe I have, and I didn't know because you have the original mouse.
I believe I have one of each here. Now, so the newer ones, the Blueberry, they had the little, so all right,
Not all the
history.
Blueberries had the divot, though.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Just later ones?
right. Yeah, because they didn't start doing the divots until they released the iMacs that had the RF shielding was gone, where you could see the inside. The tray loading Yum ones didn't have a divot yet.
Oh,
I don't think they did the divot until
Wow.
the later.
that's amazing that
models.
you tied the divot to specific configurations of iMac. But yes, the very original puck mouse were so annoying because you when you grabbed it, you couldn't tell because it was round. There was no way
Yeah.
of orienting your hand, and you would often have it askew slightly so that when you moved it, your mouse was moving at an angle or something wild, and it was so annoying. You had to I guess, look at it or maybe feel for the cord or something. So they eventually put the little divot that you're talking about at the top, so you could put your finger on it and you can know exactly where
Yeah.
the top of it was. It's kind of hard to see because it's all clear. But anyway, so the divot, we know this is a Blueberry.
Blueberry, absolutely.
Blueberry.
Right.
I believe this is a Bondi Blue next to it right here. And so the difference, let's see if I can get in.
You
both
can
of the camera.
really see
We'll
the
go this way. Go this way. There we go.
the inside components look green compared to on the
Yeah.
is that the board that's inside the mouse
So I believe, and
on the Bondi.
this one right here
Yeah,
is the Blueberry one, and I
Right,
believe
right.
that the color it's brighter. It's
Yes,
less green.
I can see it.
It's more
Yeah.
blue and bright, whereas this is kind of muted and darker and more green, more turquoise. Right?
Yep.
It's subtle.
Yeah, but it
it's
is
there.
subtle. Yeah, so I need to go look back at my blue mice and see if I don't actually
Uh-oh. You
have
have a
one.
mismatched
somewhere.
mouse. So
Probably.
now here's the next thing that I noticed. I have a bin full of these mice. And what did I observe when I grabbed them out of the bin? They're getting sticky.
Oh no!
Oh, they're
What is
getting
up with that?
Sticky, and it's not.
Yeah.
And it's the colored part.
It's the color part. Yep.
That's
There was a
sticky.
slight. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Have you
rubberized.
taken your Newtons lately?
Oh, don't tell me about that. So this part's fine, but this is
Yeah.
it's a very little sticky. Which reminds me, last week when I pulled the what was the Quadra 800? The feet had turned to goo and left this nasty mess on the bottom of my shelf. But same sort of thing, this degradation of the rubbery bits. And I don't know what you do. Has somebody figured out a way to spray them or
all I've
coat
ever
them?
do is basically remove that coating with isopropyl alcohol and a lot of rubbing.
Oh, but then you lose that rubbery, which I guess is fine. It's gone anyway now. Right?
Nobody's going to want to touch it.
So it's a coating that you can just take off,
Yes. Yeah.
and then you won't have to deal with the stickiness.
Right.
Well,
But it takes a lot of work because you don't want to use anything stronger because you're going to melt the plastic.
yeah, I guess there was no way to preserve that unless you stuck it in a hyperbaric chamber or something.
I think I don't know if it's like oils from your hand using it over the years or if it just on its own.
It's just
turns
on
to-
its own. I mean, nobody's been using these things, and they were fine when I put them away. And yeah. So unless somebody went through great lengths, the children today will never know what it felt like to have a rubbery feel iMac Puck mouse. Gosh, what a shame. All right, well, that's the takeaway. The mice are different. Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us in the chat.
Joshua, Mac Down Under, right. Y'all have a good evening, morning, afternoon.
I think we'll see you next week. We'll play a little music. We got outro music. There it is. And we'll say our goodbyes. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the RetroMacCast with James and John. Email listener comments and questions to retromaccast@gmail.com or post comments on our website at www.retromaccast.com.